This is Beat 'em Down from Cult 45, the movie podcast, and you are listening to the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network.
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese and France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success?
Hey everyone, you're listening to Superhero Speak, and I'm your host Dave.
I'm ready. Hi. All right, we're there. John, I'm John. Hi.
I'm willing and JD.
But none of us are able.
No, that's true.
That's why we're here.
Yes. Oh.
That was harsh.
So
It's the only way to finish that joke, sorry.
So have you guys been up to anything fun this week? How about you, JD?
Not particularly. I've been, just writing and trying to figure out this Amazon advertising stuff. That's about it. Nothing cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, John?
Bought some more art. Trying to support some of the artists that I know. Started watching Upload, which is pretty good.
What's that?
And
I know what it is. I haven't watched it yet. I'm shocked you don't know what it is. Go ahead.
It's got Robbie. Was it Robbie Amell, Dave? It's Robbie Amell, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, brother of the actor who is Arrow. Right. Yeah.
He was Firestorm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and he's also in another movie called not Sense or something like that.
Anyway.
Whatever.
What? Oh. Anyway, so it's about a movie about a guy who may or may not have been murdered, and it's in a world like in the future from now where people can actually have their brains uploaded, and that's their afterlife. Like if they live long enough, they can pay. They get uploaded into a virtual reality and they can live on there forever. But it's
cool.
It's a lot more than that. It's like there's science fiction, there's a love story, there's a mystery. It's actually really, really good.
Who created it?
Man, I was just gonna make a quick suggestion and go, but now it's
Elon Musk.
What? No.
He did create something this past week.
Oh yeah, a firestorm. And not the good, not the really bad kind for California, but its creator is Greg Daniels.
Okay.
And it's Robbie Amell, Andy Allo, Zainab Johnson, full cast.
My only issue with the concept, and I've heard this concept before, the quote unquote singularity where you can upload your consciousness to a computer and quote unquote live forever, and it's just like, yes, but is it you or just a copy of your personality?
You see, now I almost had this conversation with somebody else this week about, because that's the whole debate over the effects of transporters, right?
Oh, well, of course.
Every time you get transported,
you're destroying the original, making a copy of yourself.
Well, yeah, you're basically disassembling yourself. You're down to like the subatomic particles and reassemble, and then using energy to reassemble a copy somewhere else.
Right.
Right. So, like, is that you or is that a new you?
No disassembly.
And did you die? Do you die every time you get into a transporter? It's
right.
Like
it is why Sheldon Cooper will never use a transporter.
Yeah, that's why Bones was right.
Yes.
So anyway, that's basically what I've been doing. I actually got a little bit motivated, started looking at my timeline in Scrivener again, and started moving things around. So I think I might be able to start writing again Now that I'm sure that the virus isn't going to get me.
Well, that's good. I got seasonal allergies, and I'm not sure.
No,
is that like the rhythm?
No, it's definitely not the rhythm.
Because the rhythm is going to get you.
Well, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But the coronavirus is not.
Okay, good.
Dave?
I actually need to apologize to our fans.
Why?
Why'd you do that?
All right, so number one, I need to apologize to Ape at Ray and D Square because we are supposed to have a debate with them on this show. It is going to happen.
I'd be sorry to do that with you too.
But things have happened in my personal life I haven't discussed on the show yet. My mother-in-law, who had been sick for a long time, passed away 2 weeks ago, and then the other thing I didn't even really tell you guys is my brother-in-law's cousin, who was there helping out and whatnot while she was in hospice, apparently was sick, and not coronavirus, just she had a bad cold. She didn't tell anyone, and half of us got it. So I've actually been kind of sick for the past week, on and off, stuffy nose, couldn't breathe and stuff. I was actually really sick last week when we were talking to Jimmy. I don't know if you noticed, I kept muting my microphone when I was sneezing and coughing.
No. So it was working, the muting part.
You did a good job. That's definitely for sure.
And also, we've been behind on Nerd Madness, boys and girls. We were actually in our final matchups for our 4 categories. I finally kicked it off today with movies, and I apologize but we will be getting back to it. And yeah, so that's been my last couple of weeks. So
you feeling better now?
Oh yeah, no, I'm actually feeling a lot better now.
Well, when there's a massive viral pandemic going around, you kind of go, "Hey, you okay?" It's a reasonable question.
Yes, yeah, no, and it's funny because it's one of the reasons I wasn't really saying anything, because a couple of people were like, "Oh, you better go to the hospital, make sure it's not coronavirus." It's like, I don't have any of the symptoms, this is definitely a cold. And,
it's still impossible to find a test too.
Yeah, but it's just like, I didn't want the risk of them telling me I have it. I actually didn't want the risk of going and getting it when I had something else.
I've actually heard people are not going, in real life situations, people are not going to emergency rooms because they're afraid of getting it.
Yeah, no, and that's a shame, because our actual, and this actually just came out 2 days ago, there was an article saying people with heart attacks aren't going to the emergency room because they're afraid of getting the coronavirus. It's like, I think you have a more pressing matter.
Yes, I agree. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You take care of the situation in front of you.
Yes.
And from what I've been told, they're doing a decent job of keeping people, the corona people, away from the non-corona people, but it's tough, man.
Just to be careful, I'm going to be 6 feet away from my microphone.
Anyway, no, I have 3 nurses in my family, and they all told me the same thing. They're like, "Do you have a fever and a dry cough?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Okay, then stay home and take fluids." So,
man, I have seasonal allergies, and every time I cough, I'm like, "Oh, is this it?"
Oh yeah.
Death, is that you? Oh no, just phlegm. So I'm comforted. I'm comforted by my phlegm.
You're comforted by phlegm.
See, this is why I take a Zyrtec every day.
I take an Allegro too, man. It's you cannot be too sure.
Yep.
When you're paranoid, everything is possible.
So I did mention Nerd Madness.
Yes, where are we with that?
We currently have the final round going on for movies. We have, of course, John Wick Chapter 3 versus Avengers Endgame.
Now, if you combined those two, that would have been the most awesome movie ever.
For real.
Yes.
So currently, as of this recording, and there's 9 hours left on this poll, John Wick Chapter 3 is at 29.2% and Endgame is at 70.8%. And that's with nearly 200 votes.
Wow.
So, I have a feeling, could be wrong, that Avengers is going to take this.
Safe bet.
We have some comments, starting out, of course, with the Gorilla Brain podcast. "I know Avengers will win this, and it's fine, and your fans enjoyed Back to the Future for America's ass. But can we all please agree that you voted for the final battle and nothing else? Endgame was great, but it was no Infinity War.
And D Square comes back slinging. Man, we gotta get this going. We gotta get this
D Square comes back with Endgame got my vote because it's the most comic booky movie ever made.
It truly is. That's a good argument.
The final battle is a sweet-ass cherry on top.
Oh, yeah, that final battle.
John Wick prevented me from being bored for a couple of hours.
Oh, that's harsh. Yeah, come on. Shots fired.
I mean, they're both basically 10s. You can't diss John Wick like that.
Hold on. Gorilla Brain came back with the most comic booky movie ever. I'm sorry. What was Sin City? Oh, that's right. The most comic accurate film ever. You blew your load when Cat grabbed that hammer and when all the heroes showed up. That's where your vote went.
Did he just really go to bat for Sin City as the most comic book accurate movie ever? Wow.
Yeah. D Square, if that gives you peace, then sure. And Gorilla Brain, if you want peace, prepare for war.
So be it.
Chris, we got it. We have to make this happen.
Yes.
Crystal Storm said John Wick was so good, but that Endgame though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like it's hard. You're trying to pick between like dark chocolate and caramel, and it's like, which way do you go?
The Digital Sky podcast said tough choice, but had to vote for Endgame. C-MC gave us, of course, Cap with the hammer saying assemble.
You know what's going to happen though, because John Wick, they left it open for John Wick Chapter 4.
Uh-huh.
So I'll bet you if that is like the John Wick universe's Endgame, that will be.
Hey, John Wick beat Far From Home, so.
Yeah.
Cal L Fan 49 gave us the John Wick Chapter 3 GIF. Brave Seminoles. Okay.
We apologize.
Yeah. The answer is I didn't get chills watching one of them, and the other I did get chills every single time.
He should wear a coat.
Yeah, you might have something wrong with you.
And then they said,
did you get tested for coronavirus?
Don't do my boy John Wick like this. Interesting.
Yes, provocative.
So there we go. That is currently what is going on in Nerd Madness. Of course, our upcoming final 3 matchups are for TV, Mandalorian versus The Boys, anime, Castlevania versus Demon Slayer, and for comics, we have House of X versus Batman Dan. So that should be interesting.
Yes.
So JD made a comment recently on social media.
Okay. I'm very glad that we're addressing this because go ahead, continue. I have thoughts. This might surprise you.
So JD, I've said that our interview last week with Jimmy Palmetto, if you haven't listened to yet, go back and listen to it.
Palmiotti.
I'm sorry. Wow. I am off today.
Are you sure you're better?
Said it was the best episode that he's been involved with since joining the show. To which Timothy Jones.
Ooh.
Well, to be fair, you poked the bear with the Tim Jones one. That was on you.
Thank you very much, JD.
Okay. Say, do you remember who the first person that was interviewed between the three of us? When the three of us got together, who was the very first person that was interviewed? Do you remember? Me! It was better than mine. So, yeah, I'm going to stand by it. And it's not just sour grapes.
Well played.
Oh!
Well played.
Oh my god.
I mean,
yeah, okay. I will give you that. Yes. It was better than you.
Yes. I'm comfortable admitting it. Continue.
In regards to the episode, Parallax Creates said, Jesus, Jimmy, I may be late to the party, but you look like mafia material. Respectfully speaking.
It's like a fine businessman to me.
Yes. There is no mafia. There's only the syndicate.
Not a thing. Mafia is just a figment of your imagination, sir.
And friend of the show, friend of mine, J.G. Jones, said he was my comics consigliere.
All this Italian just keeps coming up. I
don't know what it is, it's Brooklyn. What do you want? So yes, again, thanks Jimmy for doing the show. We really enjoyed it, and
it really was a great episode.
Yeah, a lot of people liked it, so it was good. It was very, very good. All right. And speaking of social media madness and D Square, here he is to tell you how you can get more social media madness.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often, because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
All right. Thank you, Don. We really appreciate that. And we will have you on soon to debate 8-Bit Ray and comics, and apparently now John Wick and Endgame.
I can't wait for this. I'm looking more and more forward to it every day.
On that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
And we're back. All right, guys. So we don't really have much exciting news this week, but we have some interesting news that has come out. So you know who Temuera Morrison is?
Yeah, that'd be Boba Fett.
Yes. No. Jango Fett. Technically, he played Jango Fett.
You're right.
But it has been confirmed, and this is from the Hollywood Reporter, not We Got This Covered, that he will be reprising his role as Boba Fett. So he'll be reprising Jango Fett. He'll be as Boba Fett in season 2 of The Mandalorian.
It's a clone. It works.
So here's the question. Is he playing Boba Fett, and is Boba Fett still alive, or is this going to be a flashback?
I have it in good authority that, yes, he must be alive because he had a jetpack.
He did have a jetpack.
That malfunctioned, and it's the reason he crashed into, the Sarlacc pit and got eaten. But hey!
It did happen.
But you don't get eaten by... You're like, what? You're digested for 1,000 years. I think that's plenty of time to jury-rig a jetpack for just one short hop out of the mouth.
Well, the average human doesn't live for 1,000 years.
Ah, yes, but is Boba Fett the average human?
Oh, touche, pussycato.
Thank you. Here's another cool thing I've seen brought up. One, because I do believe he did dub in the voice of I forget which version of the special edition trilogies. He did dub in Boba Fett's voice, so he has been Boba Fett. 2, what's to say this isn't a flashback?
Right, that is my question. Are they going to... They could do something cool with it and kind of show why he wears the Mandalorian armor, but he's not considered a Mandalorian, but why he adopted the lifestyle. I don't know. Maybe it's a filler episode. Yeah, I don't know. But then again, would that be a terrible tease to fans who want this?
I don't know. Great question.
Like John, who's convinced Boba Fett survived.
He must have.
Well, he did. I believe he survives in all the EU, the no longer continuity EU stuff.
Yeah.
Fett lives, so it's not unprecedented.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, I just always think back to a friend of mine who's an artist has a very famous print that he did, and this wasn't a cover or anything. He did this for himself, and it's Boba Fett coming out of the Sarlacc pit. The Sarlacc monster is dead, sticking out of the pit, and his like arm is injured and he's holding it, but he's like, standing there victorious. And, it's part of his display at conventions. And at one of the shows, someone came up to his table and was like, "It's pretty cool, but don't you realize that Jar Jar Binks was actually a more pivotal character than, Boba Fett ever was?"
Oh.
Did your friend lay him out? Because I think I might have. Like, say that shit again. Say that shit again.
I understand the reaction, but then once he started explaining it, I'm like,
"Oh no, he's totally right."
Right, exactly.
Well, that means that the little teddy bears were also more pivotal, right?
They brought down the Empire.
Exactly.
Like, they're the linchpin of the entire series.
Oh God, they're the linchpin of the entire series.
They are. That being said, Boba Fett is probably the greatest case of like wasted potential in all fiction. I mean, he has this great.
Even more so than Captain Phasma.
Actually,
Captain Phasma's up there. Darth Maul also.
Allow me to add something to this, because it just occurred to me. Most of the people know him only because he was really awesome in the Star Wars Christmas special that does not exist. Right?
That is not why people know him.
Well, that's where they first saw him, right? So that was his first appearance, and he made an impression. I mean, he seemed pretty awesome there. And then of course they had him in the live action movies later on. But I think the reason why everybody loves Boba Fett and thinks he's awesome is it's completely fan driven, because this happened and I hate to say this, but this happened a lot in My Little Pony.
Sorry. No, I was not expecting that. Continue.
No,
I was.
No, seriously. The thing with the My Little Pony series, the Generation 4, was that a couple of episodes into the first season, all these people were becoming fans, and they were taking these background characters that like had no role, no speaking, nothing, and doing fan fiction about them. But just like in a collaborative, good kind of way, not the 4chan way. So anyway, like it got to a point where the characterizations were so good and so well known in the fan base that the cartoon writers actually had to adjust things, and they played along with it and they adjusted things and they made those characters canon. And I think that's the reason why Boba Fett is so big, is because everybody made him so big because there was nothing. He's a fan created character now, basically.
So I find
that's they gave him they gave everybody, they were given a blank page. We filled it in, and we filled it in to make him awesome.
So I think this is interesting, but I don't want to ever hear crap about me liking wrestling again.
No.
Just to establish, I think that, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but having never really read anything fan fiction wise of Star Wars, I've always thought Boba Fett was cool. I attribute a bit of the Spider-Man syndrome. Yes. The reason why people like Spider-Man at first is because of the badass design. Like, say what you want, Steve Ditko drew one hell of a design. What keeps people coming back is the awesome character, right? Like, You're lured in by the look of Spider-Man, right? What makes him work is everything else. So I think Boba Fett unintentionally has this super badass design and this super badass demeanor that, like you said, is essentially a blank slate. He's pretty cool, but like not he's just a background character in in Empire, and then by Jedi they just throw him in a pit.
But he's dark and brooding and silent, and therefore you can impose on him your idea of what badass is, and that's what
it's also the mystique of a character who's completely covered from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You never see his face, so
it's one of the reasons, until you see his face, the Mandalorian works so well.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say it doesn't work when you see Pascal's face. I'm just saying it draws you in. And it's why Spider-Man works. It's why Boba Fett works. You can picture yourself under that armor.
Mm-hmm. I think there's something to Deadpool in that too.
Yep.
Well, that's also because at conventions people, don the costume so they can just be assholes.
How come you've never worn the costume? Anyway.
Because I'm naturally an asshole.
Oh, okay, good.
This is true.
All
But
right.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense because like the fan bases of the My Little Pony G4 and Star Wars are kind of the same. Like there's a lot of fan fiction for a lot of different venues and a lot of different properties, but the fan bases for these two properties, they bring it to another level. It's not just like your standard fan fiction, adding, sparkly vampires and, whatever. It's real like world building fan fiction. And yeah, it worked for this.
Speaking of things,
will people ever get over what Stephanie Meyer did to vampires?
No.
No. Speaking of things that work and people having jobs.
Not me.
So, we talked about this before, but it has now officially been confirmed that Taika Waititi is confirmed to be co-writing and directing a new Star Wars film. Obviously no details about the movie just yet, but this is definitely happening. And I'm both amused and scared by this news. I love his films. He's an excellent filmmaker, but do we need more Star Wars?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, it depends. Like, if it's in the same lane as like Mandalorian where we're getting new stuff, then sure.
I think I trust him more so than I have most people. I mean, like, cause he's proven that, with these licensed properties, we'll just leave it at that he's very respectful and can put a different spin on stuff that might be a little played already. So I think I'm interested in what he has to bring.
Yeah, and I definitely can agree to that. I mean, look at Ragnarok, where he took two big stories from the comics, melded them together, and made work, and
made it something new.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic about this. Even though I believe me, I could deal with no Star Wars for a while. I think this could work.
Yeah. Well, who knows when it'll actually get made. That's the other thing. I mean, right?
Summer of 2065.
I don't think we'll be able to enjoy it then.
For yourself. I'll be 75 and still nerdy.
Oh, I'll be still nerdy, but, my false teeth might keep falling out while I'm trying to chew my popcorn. That's just frustrating.
Blenders, man. You just drink that stuff.
Ew. Liquid popcorn.
The quicker picker up.
All right, so
I think John's thrown up in the corner.
I think John?
It wasn't that bad joke.
It's John.
John.
I could hear you.
Oh, now we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't technology wonderful? Like everybody, we have had these problems ever since we started the podcast with like dropping mics and all that, and now everybody can enjoy it.
Only if we leave it in the show.
Yeah. Well. Oh.
Did you?
Yes, I heard the popcorn thing. I was throwing up in the corner. Thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of dark humor.
Oh, this is
so
ridiculous.
Apparently, in an interview with Lad Bible, Andy Serkis has come out and said that the Batman will be darker than all previous Batman movies.
I don't know why that bothers me as much as it does. Like, Batman should be dark, but I don't know.
When asked whether fans were right to expect a darker, broodier Batman, the Lord of the Rings star laughed. I would say that's not far from the truth. Like, how more brooding can you get?
But why? Like, seriously, haven't they learned their lesson yet? No, I guess not.
That's what I hear.
The only way this can work is if they do Batman the way he should be, not stupid and dark, but actually intelligent and dark, and then they do another DC movie where it's contrasted with, like All-Star Superman or something, right? Like, if they match the tones to the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice. Then they'd have something that's different from Marvel and still okay. But if this is just, if you thought you're dark, hold my beer. I
agree.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, no, it's funny because, it always makes me think of the animated series, right? Like, there's a cartoon where they started with black paper, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And yes, it was a dark in visuals show. And
well, and some of the episodes were dark too, but they also interspersed that with, some lighter fare, and it was character driven.
Right.
It wasn't the driving character wasn't the darkness.
Right. Like it was dark for children's television, but it wasn't like, we're drinking people's blood and stuff like that,
Oh yeah, but there were some pretty dark episodes on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know, but I don't know if DC ever really. Let's just say they have a bad tendency to think that the key to these things is just making them super dark and super broody, as opposed to making the characters interesting. Which again, what works for Batman doesn't necessarily work for everyone else. But they make that assumption, and hearing this makes me go, man, you guys don't really get it. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, they've got a track record, so.
Yeah, and I almost feel like that question was, a leading question, but in a sarcastic way, and Andy Serkis played right into it.
He might. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, hopefully, because we want a somewhat brooding Batman, but that's just one scene of him standing on a rooftop, looking over the city, brooding. That's all we need.
Yeah, but it can't be just stupid brooding, Like, I'm brooding. Come on.
Like, again, if you want to do something, like some of Batman's best stories are a little dark, even going back to something like Laughing Fish, I just don't think you need to, like, it's so dark, Like, they even made fun of it in Lego.
Yes.
I mean, like, I know, I was just thinking that. Darkness, no parents, money makes it better.
Speaking of things that won't die, like Batman's brooding.
Yeah.
So apparently, New Mutants is still headed to the theaters, guys.
Nothing is going to the theater. Movie is a myth.
JD, this is like your white whale, man.
For real. We've been talking about this for 3 years.
And we're gonna have
it's coming out. It's really coming out this year, really.
So apparently, it showed up on a list for like services so they could rent it out to people, like Redbox and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, Fox sent a message to them that, this was sent in error. The movie is still set to be released in the theater.
Just put it out on Betamax. Max. I know, but that's the whole point. It's like it's just either this is cursed or it's just a big farce that they've been pulling over us for 3 years now.
That this movie is what actually released the coronavirus.
No, that's not true, because we would have it by
now. No, Dave, you got it backwards. They released the coronavirus to prevent movies.
That is possible.
That makes sense. I don't get it. Like, at this point, I don't know anyone who is still saying, yeah, I can't wait to see this in the theater.
Maybe.
Well, JD is, yeah. I was going to say, it's like, I'm interested now. This is like, 3 years of buildup. I got to see this. It's either going to be like really, really good, or it's going to be the Room of the Marvel movies.
Anything is possible at this point. I just got to see it.
Yeah.
Like, I just got to see it.
There can't be anything in this movie that ties into any Marvel thing at this point that would even make sense if they tried to do it. Oh.
No, not a ghost chance.
Oh, it's going to have an open-ended ending, too, that sets up a sequel.
I doubt it will. I really do. I think they're smart enough to know that we're going to end this thing right here.
Yeah. This is like...
It could end with all of them dying.
Stick a knife in it, because it's done. Like, this is due for a reboot, and the movie hasn't even come out yet.
Well, maybe they have some hope in it. If they are going to put it in the theater, maybe they resuscitated it. Like, maybe they found something.
Or maybe they're just trying to recoup any money they can off of it.
Well, I think if they wanted to, they'd throw it on Disney Plus right now.
I'm wondering
then why?
If the thought process is by the time the movie theaters open back up, people are going to be clamoring so much to go to a movie for entertainment that they will even run out and see this.
And they're going to scare them right back into hiding again. Nope. Came out too early. Got to stay back home. That's it.
That's possible. I I don't understand. I don't.
I just want to see it.
Yeah.
I just want to see it. I just want to know. I
wanted it to come out on Redbox so we could watch it and review it for this podcast, but
the girl who plays Magic was really good in The Witch. Like, she's talented. I want to see that. Like, there's talent in this movie.
Even if they put it in Redbox, the red boxes would probably malfunction and we'd never. I mean, at this point, it's just, you know.
This is my Snyder cut.
Yeah, I know. The Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yeah, this is my Snyder cut. The Teen Titans. The New Mutants movie.
# release New Mutants.
Well, at least the New Mutants movie actually exists. Snyder cut is it's like a myth. It's like a chupacabra.
Yes, I believe it is. All right. Well, on to some good news.
There's good news?
The Czech Republic has apparently given the go-ahead for Marvel Studios to resume production on Falcon Winter Soldier. Yes.
Really?
So.
Interesting.
Came out in Deadline.
It is interesting.
Is it?
So, Czech Republic hosts on Carnival Row, Marvel's Falcon and the Winter Soldier says it is ready for film and TV resumption. So.
I'll be real. I haven't heard much about the virus stuff that's coming out of the Czech Republic. I mean, that's right. Like, you don't really hear about prop. Yeah. So maybe things aren't. I mean, I'm not going to look it up right now, but I mean, like, maybe things aren't so bad in prop.
Well,
relatively speaking.
Probably.
So there's obviously there's restrictions to this.
They do Carnival Row.
They're going to, when people arrive to work, they're going to be tested, and then within 72 hours they have to be tested, and they cannot resume working until the test result comes back that it's negative. So yeah,
that's fair. They started doing live wrestling shows last week, and the AEW, and they literally did the rapid tests on everybody, like stagehands, like everyone that before they walked in the door they had a rapid test done. UFC did the same thing. They did multiple tests because they one of the guys came back positive after his second test. So I think I believe them when people are saying this. Like, I think this is reality. People say they're testing. I'm willing to give benefit of the doubt.
Did you see the commercial? That reminds me. The commercial for, it was either Burger King or Domino's. I think it's Burger King, where it's like.
No, but I kind of want to. I don't even know where you're going with
where
this.
They're like,
Continue.
They're now taking the temperature of all their employees before their shifts begin, and if they have a fever, they're being sent home right away, and
that's so.
One of my favorite things too. Again, this is what I love about stuff like this is in the commercial, they're like, our contactless drive-through, and the girl at the drive-through's got the bag on the tray. She hands the tray out the window, and the customer grabs the bag off of the tray. And it's like, but someone had to put the bag on the tray. Like, come on, people, are we really that stupid? So,
yes,
okay.
Yes, we are.
As long as we feel good about our burgers. So.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, like, if they're actually doing like a real test, like a rapid test, and everyone comes back negative, and I'm okay with it. That's fine. That's all you can do. If you can do everything reasonably possible to keep people safe, I don't know what more we can ask for. Like, I'm a stay-at-home guy, but I mean, like, at the same time, like, the world can't just stop.
It's funny. Like, years ago, most companies had nurses that worked at the company. Like, you have a school nurse, you had a company nurse, and like, oh yeah. And it's funny because like it's a concept you kind of think they should bring back nowadays, where the nurse could just take people's temperatures as they came in. We have rapid thermometers nowadays, digital ones, just take people's temperatures as they come into work,
I do wonder, because you guys, I was telling kids the other day, we were talking on Zoom, and I mentioned to them about airports. Like, back in the day, you could just go to the airport and hang out. If your friend had a flight coming in, you could actually wait in the terminal. And they were like, really? And I said, yeah. So what did you do about this? I said, these things didn't exist before 9/11. So I wonder what changes will kind of be the legacy of this in society,
I don't know.
Like, is taking temperature everywhere we go going to kind of be a thing?
Is it going to be the death of Tinder?
No, nothing will be the death of Tinder.
No, people
this
are
isn't even the death of Tinder.
Yes. Am I the only one that's kind of sad that all these places like wrestling and movies have all this rapid testing and hospitals still don't get that?
No, you're wrong. But like, for the wrestling's case, the city of Jacksonville is literally giving them to everybody. So that is, in that case, Jacksonville is one of the few cities, being in Florida, so good thing, that actually has that. Like this is a messed up process. Like it's been months now and we still don't have enough tests. I know it's not supposed to be this show. I'm sorry. But that is messed up.
Yeah.
You know?
So, anyway.
Well, apparently you can go to the Czech Republic and get tested. Just tell them you're going to work on.
If you can get on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And they're filming Carnival Row there too. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's in the article.
What is Carnival Row?
That's an Amazon series. It's God, you'll have to read the synopsis of that because it's really whack out. It's really whack.
Whack?
And it's good. It's good.
Wait, when did this become a 90s slideshow?
I don't know. I pick up vernacular when I'm reading something.
Did you say whack or whack with an EED? Because if it's whacked, I get. I mean, if it's like wiggity wiggity whack, that is 90s.
I don't know. I'm
wiggity
old,
wiggity
like,
whack.
you know. So
that's crisscross. That's the early 90s. That's old.
Fine, but it's good. You should watch it. It's like add that to your list if you get bored or you run out of if you finish I don't know, the internet or something because of all the free time.
I got a 4-year-old. I haven't been bored in 2 years.
All right. So finally, I brought this article because I see this idea getting floated around a lot on the internet lately. The tubes. So apparently, the idea of having a Spider-Man reunion of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland in Spider-Verse was pitched by Christopher Miller. Sony replied that it was too ambitious at the time and too soon for that kind of a
too soon. What are they talking about?
So weak. I read that article too. I was so disappointed when I read that.
Like did they not see what was going on with Marvel? I mean, come on. Or try any Doctor Who reunion for crying out loud.
So Miller and Lord did pitch the idea, which makes me wonder: are they going to repitch the idea, and are they bringing it up now because people have been talking about it, repitching it for Spider-Verse?
Could happen. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we've established the Spider-Verse, if you will. Why not? Why couldn't we have that?
Maybe we can get a Deadpool cameo.
Right, because I mean, we joked. We talked about the fun idea of into the mouth of the multiverse or the madness of the multiverse. What is it? Doctor Strange.
In the madness of the multiverse, you got to
multiverse of madness.
Multiverse of madness. There you go. In the mouth of madness. That's what's his name? Lovecraft, and it was John Carpenter made the movie.
Yeah.
And then the guy from Jurassic Park stars in it.
Samuel.
Anyway, the idea of, if they're going to be doing multiverse stuff, they could go into a universe where you have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man as a quick cameo or Andrew Garfield. But this might be actually a cheaper and more easily logistic way to make that happen because you just need to get them in a recording booth for a couple hours to record some lines.
Well, unless they bring them in as live action characters into the cartoon.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
That would be interesting.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, if they can bring in Peter Porker from a cartoon, like a Looney Tunes cartoon universe, then they could bring in somebody from a live action universe too.
I hadn't considered that. I actually really like that idea.
Fascinating.
It does make me wonder if now you got me going universe. When Doctor Strange is bouncing around with Sam Raimi to making that movie, is there some cartoon stuff that pops in there? There's a lot of options.
I thought.
Yeah, just remember the end. You saw the very, very the end credit scene for the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Where they took the Spider-Man 2099 and they. Yeah, and they put him back into the old 1960s cartoon.
Right. That was great.
So I think all bets are off for this thing.
Just for a meme joke. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Just for a meme joke. And it was worth it, by the way.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
It's an interesting concept. Though I do wonder, would people accept that? would normies accept a cartoon scene in a Marvel movie?
I refer you back, the cartoon part, it doesn't matter. Would it be the live action people into the cartoon, or would it be the cartoon in the real world?
I like Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. And as far as that's concerned, as long as it's done fairly well, I again refer you back to any Doctor Who reunion where you get 3 to 5 of the doctors in the same room. People go nuts.
I think if it's a shot or just a clip, I think it could work. I don't know if it can work for an entire movie or character. I think you might lose people there.
Or just a scene or two, if they're bouncing around the universe, it's oops, hey, what the hell is this? Everything's ultra real.
Yeah, I would accept that.
Yeah, if the Simpsons can do it.
That is true. What haven't they done?
Yes, this is true. All right, I'll give you that.
I would watch it. I would be excited to watch it. The real question about Multiverse of Madness is, who is Bruce Campbell going to play?
Autolycus, Prince of Thieves?
I don't know, because you can't do Mysterio now.
Yeah, he would have been the best Mysterio, but Jake Gyllenhaal came along and took that. Selfish bastard. Because he's going to show up. What would you do with Bruce Campbell in the Doctor Strange movie?
How about Jack of all trades?
Oh my goodness. No, none of his...
No Briscoe County either.
No,
wouldn't even consider that.
No
Ash.
Oh, no, Ash would be good.
Ash could work, but I think
it would work because, it would be perfect.
For nerds like us, yes, Ash would be great. I don't know.
No, it wouldn't just be that, though. I mean, you're talking Doctor Strange and, a horror universe.
That's a good point.
Huh.
But there might be something there.
And you could fit a little Evil Dead in there. Hell you could. Because, right? Who's directing?
Sam Raimi. And he's going to have something. My favorite part in Spider-Man 2 was the scene where Doc Ock's arms come to life, and it's totally an Evil Dead homage there. That was fun.
Yep.
So yeah, you could definitely do something. That's actually the Marvel movie I think I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest with you, because I think it's so off the chart for what they normally do. I'm excited about that one. Who knows when it's ever going to come out?
Interesting. All right.
Well, yeah,
all right.
There you go. So.
Well, there you go.
What do you think?
What do I think?
America? America? No.
What do you think? America. They can't see me pointing at them.
Just making stuff up at this point.
America.
Oh, speaking of making stuff up, real quick, best. I don't know, did you guys see this? The Avengers Endgame deleted scenes? Not Endgame, I'm sorry.
I missed it.
Infinity War deleted scene where
Nope.
No,
they had introduced the merger of Banner and Hulk in that movie.
In Endgame?
No, Infinity War.
Infinity War.
So originally, apparently at the end when they're fighting and he's trying to get Hulk to come out and he keeps going no, eventually they have a conversation with a Golem style conversation where it's like you see Bruce's face and then Hulk's face going back and forth, and they come to an agreement, and then he breaks out of the armor as Hulk.
But they decided not to go that way.
No, and the main reason that they cut those scenes out is because they felt it slowed down the movie too much at that point, and it was an upbeat ending for Hulk and Bruce, but a downbeat for everything else. And they felt it took away from the ending of the movie.
That's about right.
So that's why then it became an off-screen scene that gets discussed in Endgame.
It makes for a nice little joke, too, when you see him and he's just the merged personnel and you're like, what? They did make it work. Oh, man, is this scene available? I just haven't seen it?
It must be, because I saw a breakdown of it and an explanation of it on New Rockstars, and they were showing clips of it, and I haven't, unfortunately, I don't own either of them on Blu-ray because I have Disney Plus now. So I have to go see if there's deleted scenes on Disney Plus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I'd like to see that.
So would I.
Yeah, so there you go, boys and girls. Things you didn't know you were missing, and now you want. All right.
I think I do kind of want that.
Any recommendations for the boys and girls out there, guys?
John, go ahead.
Nice.
We're kicking the can.
Okay. All right. I'll go. Try upload, and a certain special somebody forwarded me a link to this thing on YouTube, Pamela and Ivy. And it's a quick little film by Leah McKendrick about Poison Ivy's origin, and it's actually pretty good. I'm not sure. I don't think it's official. I think it's fan released, but it's got real production values. So check it out.
Yeah, you sent that to us before the show. I'm probably gonna watch it right after we get done. If I'm recommending something, I didn't do a lot this week. I was busy kind of writing. So I'm going to recommend AEW wrestling. Now it's back live again. It's much more fun to watch. Yeah, that's it. I need to get out and do more stuff this week.
All right.
Oh, just one more thing. Since we mentioned John Wick, the John Wick pitch meeting from Screen Rant is out. So look that up on YouTube. It's hysterical.
Cool.
That I will look. That sounds fun, actually.
It is fun. It's nice little candy for your brain.
Of course, I will recommend that everyone goes to superheroespeak.com. Check out the podcast every week and comic book reviews from our good friend D Square. Plus, don't forget to check out all the other podcasts in the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. But it came back last week, boys and girls. We didn't talk about it because we had an interview. But Rick and Morty is back for the second half of the season. And for those who don't watch it, you should be watching it. And JD, you definitely need to watch not this past week's episode, the week before.
You need to watch the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a single episode of that.
The whole episode basically was about writing tropes and framing devices, and it was just so funny. It's an extremely meta episode. It was just like, oh my god, JD would have loved this. So
most of them are meta episodes.
I was gonna say, aren't they all extremely meta?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. All right.
Yeah.
On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening, and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.